Alright, guys, welcome to my YouTube channel today. So, we're going to be talking about something very interesting today. It's the scenario analysis. I believe this is widely used by a lot of people, financial modelers, FP&A analysts, accountants. I think it has a very wide use case. So, we'll be running through the scenario analysis today. So, yep, straight to it. Now, I've created these templates that I'm going to be using as an illustration point for this video. And essentially, what I'm going to be sensitizing today is the EBITDA margin. And my goal here is to see how the EBITDA margin will respond to changes in price and quantity at various points. To do that, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be utilizing the sensitivity table in Excel. But just before we do that, let's very quickly create our layout. Now, the very first thing you need to do is to link what you're sensitizing to a cell in Excel. In this case, I'm going to be sensitizing 70% EBITDA margin. I link this to Excel. The next thing is to link your inputs. In this case, prices. And I want to do this by creating some differentials to the far right. So I did this 100 to the far right. Apply similar to the left, but in this case, I want to be doing a minus 100. Now this is set up. I can like to do Alt HMS, Alt HMS, right? That's merge. Then Alt HBS. This is just for a very nice and clean look and feel. So in this case, I'm going to name this my price axis. Alt HFC for font, I take on black, price as axis. I'm going to do something similar for the quantity axis. I mean, you don't have to do this on your end. This is just to make it look nice and clean. HMC, then I do quantity axis. Hope I spelled that correctly. Yeah, I could do a wrap text. Yep, not bad. Now, having set up my pricing axis, again, I want to set up my quantity axis. I'm going to link it to cell H37, 500. In a similar manner, do a range to the right, and I'm going to do a range to the left. No, that's going to give me some silly errors. So I like to do this. Yep. So, guys, before I move ahead, something is very important to note here, and I think it causes a lot of errors in a lot of sensitivity analysis. Given that I have linked this cell H37, for example, and cell H34, for example, I've linked them to the input. I like to take them out and make them hard coded. Otherwise, what you experience is Excel recalculating itself, and you probably often than not get a very wrong output. So in this case, I'm going to like to hard code this by just doing Control C, Alt HFC, yeah, Alt ESV rather, Control C first, Alt ESV, paste the values, Control C, Alt ESV, paste the values. Now this way, having done this, it's going to stop Excel from recalculating and the threads, you know, going around the cycle and give you a wrong answer. So the next step for us here will be to highlight your table. Once your table is highlighted, you go to data. You can go to data with using Alt A, right? Or you just, click on data at the top of your screen. WT. Data table is up. I've got to set my row input and column inputs. If you recall, Excel is set out in row and column. So to my mind, I see that my prices are set up on the row inputs and the quantity are set up on the columnar inputs. So I set this 34, 37, it's okay, and this is my output. So the very first thing I like to do, which I think you should also incorporate in your own processes, is to very quickly go to what the obtainable price and quantity is. In this case, it is 400, 500, 400, 500. That takes us to cell K28. I'm going to highlight it in amber. Now, why do I do this? I do this because sometimes my data table could be wrong, but this is a way of triangulating 70%, 70%, all fine and good. So your data table has been constructed, and what you can see is the combination of prices and quantity giving you different EBITDA margins. If you want to do something a bit nicer and fancier, you could use conditional formatting where you can again highlight just your output. You go to Alt HL, then create the new rule. You can use various rules applicable from this drop down, but what I like to use often than not is the top or bottom ranked values. Once you click into this, and I tell it I want to see top three, and I want to format top three with a fill green, of course. And once I do this and I hit the OK button, then I see the top three combinations telling me at 700 units and 700 US dollars, I get an EBITDA margin of 84%. In a similar fashion, you could do for the lower part, again, that's HLN this time around, just taking a bit faster. And you go to top or bottom ranked value, and I do three button, and I want to see this in red, maybe something darker, but this is okay. So why do I like to do this? This is because when I create a sensitivity table and I'm sending out my Excel sheet or someone's reading my Excel sheet, once they look at my sensitivity table, the red, yellow, and green colors pique their attention very quickly. And once you look at the green, what comes to your mind is okay, these are the nice combination, the sweet spot essentially that I would like to be. The red is probably somewhere I'll not like to be, of course. And for the amber, that is where I am currently. So, guys, this is the way you can set up your sensitivity table in Excel. You could use it for whatever combination of inputs you're trying to sensitize to get an output. Just a couple of things to bear in mind. I like to usually, again, when I link my table to an input, I like to hard code it. Otherwise, Excel is going to be right reiterating, and that could mess up your sensitivity table. And you should also be very careful of what you use for your input and output. If you get those wrong, of course, your sensitivity table is going to be wrong. And you should also try to ensure that your calculations and your sensitivity table, often than not, are within a worksheet. If they were in separate worksheets, trust me, it can get very messy and can get very frustrating. So this is what we are going to be covering today on sensitivity table. And thank you very much for your time. Please like, share our videos, and follow us for more on Excel and financial modeling generally. Thanks a lot. Cheers, guys.